The icy water of the Cascade River swirled around Violet Harrington's designer boots as she frantically clawed at the slippery rocks, her heart pounding with the sudden realization that one wrong move could sweep her downstream. What had started as a peaceful walk to clear her mind after a brutal board meeting had turned into a fight for survival when the riverbank gave way beneath her feet. "Help," she called out, her voice barely audible over the rushing water. The current wasn't deadly in this section, but the 40-degree temperature of the spring melt would be. Her fingers were already going numb as she tried to maintain her precarious grip on the mossy stone. Tyler Adamson heard the cry while helping his 7-year-old daughter Emma build a small dam of pebbles farther upstream. He'd brought her here to enjoy the weekend outdoors, one of the few luxuries he could still afford since losing his contracting business last year. "Em, stay right there on that big rock, okay? Don't move," he commanded, his voice firm but gentle. "What's wrong, Daddy?" Emma asked, her small face scrunched with concern. "Someone needs help. I'll be right back. Stay put." He pointed to the flat boulder she was perched on, well away from the water's edge. Tyler sprinted along the riverbank, scanning the water until he spotted a woman in a gray coat, half submerged and struggling against the current. Without hesitation, he waded in, wincing as the cold water soaked through his jeans. "I've got you," he called, extending his hand toward Violet. "Take my hand." Their fingers connected, and Tyler could feel how cold hers were already. With a firm grip, he pulled, using his weight as leverage against the current. Violet gasped as she found her footing on a submerged rock, and with one more strong tug, Tyler pulled her toward the shallower water. "Careful," he warned as they made their way to the bank. "The rocks are treacherous." Once on solid ground, Violet collapsed, shivering violently. Her perfectly tailored pantsuit was soaked and mudded, her sleek bob plastered to her face. "Thank you," she managed between chattering teeth. "Dad, is she okay?" Emma called, having disobeyed his instruction to stay put. She stood nervously a few feet away, her pink rubber boots planted firmly on dry land. "She will be," Tyler assured his daughter. He turned to Violet. "We need to get you warm. My truck is parked just up the trail. Can you walk?" Violet nodded, attempting to stand but wincing when she put weight on her right ankle. "I think I twisted something," she admitted. Without a word, Tyler scooped her up, one arm under her knees and the other supporting her back. Under normal circumstances, Violet would have protested she was the CEO of Harrington Innovations. After all, not someone who needed rescuing, but the shock and cold overrode her usual independence. "Emma, grab my backpack, please," Tyler instructed, and his daughter dutifully collected his worn canvas pack. As they made their way up the path, Violet caught glimpses of her rescuer. Strong jaw with a day's stubble, kind brown eyes creased at the corners from frequent smiles or squinting in the sun, and shoulders broad enough to carry her without strain despite her being a grown woman. His worn flannel shirt and faded jeans spoke of a simple life, a stark contrast to the tailored suits she encountered daily. "My name's Tyler," he said, navigating carefully up the rocky trail. "This is my daughter, Emma." "Violet," she replied, her voice steadier now despite her shivering. "Thank you for saving me. I don't know what would have happened if—" "No need to think about that," Tyler interrupted gently. "We found you in time." They reached his truck, an older model Ford with a dent in the passenger door and a car seat in the back. Tyler set Violet down carefully on the passenger seat and cranked the heater to full blast. From the back, he pulled out a well-worn but clean blanket and wrapped it around her shoulders. "I have some dry clothes Emma's mom left in the truck." "They might fit you," he offered, reaching behind the seat to pull out a small duffel bag. The mention of Emma's mother made Violet glance at his left hand. No ring. Not that it mattered to her, she reminded herself. "Thank you," she said, accepting the bundle of clothing. "Could you?" "Of course." Tyler stepped away, giving her privacy to change inside the truck cab. "Emma and I will pack up our stuff." As they walked away, Violet heard Emma ask, "Is the pretty lady going to be okay, Daddy?" "She will be," Tyler assured her. "We just need to help her get warm and dry." Violet peeled off her wet clothes with difficulty in the confined space, grateful for the sweatpants and oversized sweatshirt Tyler had provided. They smelled of fabric softener, and for some reason, that homey scent brought tears to her eyes. When was the last time she'd worn anything that wasn't dry cleaned or pressed by her housekeeper? By the time Tyler and Emma returned, Violet had managed to change and was huddled under the blanket, her wet hair dripping onto the sweatshirt's shoulders. Better? Tyler asked, climbing into the driver's seat while Emma buckled herself into the back. Much, Violet admitted, though I'm afraid my phone didn't survive the river. She held up her waterlogged device. We can stop by my place, it's not far from here. Rice sometimes works for wet phones, and you can warm up properly before figuring out your next steps. Under normal circumstances, Violet would never have agreed to go to a stranger's home. But there was something trustworthy about Tyler, and the earnest concern in Emma's eyes as she peeked between the front seats disarmed her completely. "That would be very kind, thank you," she said. Tyler's place turned out to be a modest 2-bedroom rental on the outskirts of town. The small yard was well kept, with a bicycle propped against the porch and a swing hanging from the single oak tree. Inside, the furniture was mismatched but clean, with children's drawings taped to the refrigerator and a stack of library books on the coffee table. "It's not much," Tyler said apologetically as he showed her to the bathroom where he provided a towel for her hair. "But the water heater works great if you want a hot shower." "This is perfect," Violet assured him, touched by his hospitality. "You've already done so much." While Violet showered, Tyler made hot chocolate for all of them. Emma sat at the kitchen counter, her legs swinging as she carefully colored a picture of what appeared to be 3 people, one tall with brown hair, one small with pigtails, and one with yellow hair that might have been Violet. "Is she a princess?" Emma asked her father. "She looks like one," Tyler smiled, stirring the pot on the stove. "I don't think so, sweetie, but she was very brave in the river." "Where does she live? Does she have kids?" Emma's questions continued, and Tyler realized he knew almost nothing about the woman he'd rescued. "I don't know. Maybe you can ask her when she comes out politely," he added, knowing his daughter's tendency to be direct. When Violet emerged from the bathroom, her hair dried and wearing the borrowed clothes, she looked younger and more approachable than she had in her business attire, even when it was soaked. "I put your clothes in the dryer," Tyler told her, handing her a mug of hot chocolate. "They should be done in about an hour. Thank you, I can't believe you're going to all this trouble for a stranger." "You're not a stranger anymore," Emma piped up. "You're Violet, I'm Emma, I'm 7. Violet couldn't help but smile. "It's very nice to meet you officially, Emma." "Do you have kids?" Emma asked, drawing a look from her father. "Emma, remember what we said about personal questions?" "It's okay," Violet assured him. "No, I don't have children. I've been very busy with work." "What do you do?" Tyler asked, genuinely curious. Violet hesitated. In her experience, revealing her position as CEO of a tech company worth billions often changed how people treated her. "I work for a technology company," she said vaguely. "Like making robots?" Emma asked excitedly. Violet laughed. "Not exactly. We make software that helps other businesses." "It's not very exciting. My daddy builds things," Emma said proudly. "He used to build big buildings, but now he fixes people's houses when they break." Tyler's face tightened slightly. "I used to own a contracting company," he explained. "Economic downturn hit us hard last year. Now I do handyman work while I'm trying to rebuild." Violet nodded, understanding the struggle in his words. She'd seen many small businesses collapse during the recent recession. "It's admirable that you're rebuilding," she said sincerely. "Not much choice when you've got a little one depending on you," Tyler replied with a small smile toward Emma. "Her mom's in Seattle now with her new husband. We share custody, but Emma's with me most of the time." As the afternoon progressed, Violet found herself relaxing in a way she hadn't in years. Emma convinced her to play a board game, and Tyler made a simple but delicious pasta dinner. The conversation flowed easily, and Violet carefully steered it away from specific details about her work. "Where's your car?" Tyler asked as they finished eating. "We should figure out how to get you home." Violet explained that she'd taken a ride service to the trailhead, wanting to clear her head with a hike after a stressful week. "I can call another car once my clothes are dry," she said. "My wallet survived in my inner pocket." No rush, Tyler assured her. Emma's enjoying the company, and honestly, so am I. The warmth in his eyes when he said those words sent an unexpected flutter through Violet's chest. When was the last time someone had enjoyed her company simply for who she was, not what she could do for them? As evening approached, Violet's clothes were dry, but she found herself reluctant to leave. Emma had fallen asleep on the couch watching a movie, her head resting against Violet's arm. "She likes you," Tyler observed softly. "She doesn't usually warm up to people so quickly." "She's a wonderful child," Violet replied, gently stroking Emma's hair. "You're doing an amazing job with her." Tyler's expression softened. "It hasn't been easy since the divorce and losing the business. There are days I worry I'm not giving her enough." "It's clear she has everything that truly matters," Violet said. "She's secure, loved, and happy." They talked late into the evening after Tyler carried Emma to bed. Violet learned about his dreams of restarting his business, focusing on sustainable building practices. Tyler discovered Violet's passion for educational technology, though she still kept the extent of her success vague. When Violet finally called for a car, Tyler insisted on walking her out. Standing on his small porch under the porch light, she felt a reluctance to return to her world of board meetings and balance sheets. "Thank you again," she said, "for saving me for the clothes for dinner." "It was my pleasure," Tyler replied, his voice low. "Maybe we could do it again sometime." Without the near-drowning part, Violet smiled. "I'd like that." They exchanged numbers, and when her car arrived, Tyler watched until the taillights disappeared around the corner. Only then did he notice she'd left her business card on the side table by the door. Picking it up, his eyes widened as he read, "Violet Harrington, Chief Executive Officer, Harrington Innovations." The next day, curiosity got the better of Tyler. A quick internet search confirmed what the business card had suggested. Violet wasn't just any employee at a tech company. She was the founder and CEO of one of the fastest-growing software companies in the country, with a personal net worth in the hundreds of millions. His first instinct was to back away. What could he possibly offer someone like her? But then he remembered the way she had laughed with Emma, how comfortable she had seemed in his humble home, and the connection he'd felt during their conversations. Taking a deep breath, he texted her. "Emma wants to know if you'd like to join us for pizza and a movie on Friday. No pressure." Across town, in her penthouse office overlooking the city, Violet's phone chimed. Seeing Tyler's name brought a smile to her face that her executive assistant noticed immediately. "Good news about the merger?" she asked. "No, something personal," Violet replied, still smiling as she typed her response. "I'd love to. What time?" Friday evening found Violet parking her modest Audi. She'd deliberately chosen not to take her Tesla outside Tyler's home. She'd left work early for the first time in months, changing into jeans and a casual sweater that she hoped wouldn't scream expensive. Emma greeted her with a hug that caught Violet by surprise. "Daddy made the pizza himself," she announced proudly. With real dough, the evening was comfortable and joyful in a way Violet's carefully curated social engagements never were. They made ice cream sundaes after the movie, and Emma insisted Violet help with her bedtime story. When Emma was finally asleep, Tyler and Violet sat on the porch swing, cups of tea warming their hands against the cool evening air. "I looked you up," Tyler admitted after a comfortable silence. "You didn't mention you run a billion-dollar company." Violet tensed slightly. "Does it matter?" Tyler considered this. "Only in that I'm wondering what someone like you sees in spending time with someone like me." "Someone like me," Violet repeated softly. "You mean someone who nearly drowned because she was too stubborn to stay away from a dangerous riverbank, or someone who hadn't had a home-cooked meal in months before you made me pasta." "You know what I mean, Violet. Our worlds are completely different. And yet, I've felt more at peace in your world this past week than I have in mine for years." She set her tea aside and turned to face him. "The river was a wake-up call in more ways than one. I almost slipped away not just physically, but from everything that matters. My work consumed me so completely that I forgot what it feels like to just be a person, not a CEO." Tyler's expression softened. "I still don't understand what you see in me." I see a man who didn't hesitate to help a stranger in danger. A father who's giving his daughter all the right things: time, love, security. Someone who rebuilds when life knocks things down. Violet took a breath. And if I'm honest, someone who makes me feel like just Violet, not Violet Harrington, CEO. Their first kiss was tentative, a gentle exploration that deepened as Tyler's hand came up to cup her face. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. I should warn you, Tyler said, his thumb tracing her cheekbone. Dating a single dad comes with challenges. Unexpected schedule changes, a 7-year-old third wheel, and a man who sometimes has to choose between paying for groceries or fixing the leak in the bathroom. And I should warn you, Violet countered. Dating me means dealing with late nights, emergency business calls, and a woman who sometimes forgets to eat when she's working on a project. Tyler grinned. Sounds like we both have our issues. Maybe we can help each other with them, Violet suggested. Over the following weeks, their relationship deepened. Violet became a regular at Tyler's house, often arriving with groceries that she insisted were extras from her own shopping. She attended Emma's school play, sitting proudly in the audience as the little girl played a tree with exactly one line, which she delivered perfectly. Tyler, meanwhile, found ways to support Violet without overstepping. He started texting her reminders to eat during long workdays and brought lunch to her office once when she mentioned a particularly stressful board meeting. Her assistants' raised eyebrows when the handyman arrived with homemade sandwiches made Violet realize how separate she'd kept her worlds. Their first real challenge came when Tyler's ex-wife canceled her weekend with Emma at the last minute, coinciding with an important charity gala Violet was hosting. "I'm so sorry," Tyler said over the phone. "I know you wanted me there tonight, but I can't find a sitter on such short notice." Violet hesitated only a moment. "Bring Emma. It's a family-friendly event and I'd love to have you both there." "Are you sure? It's a pretty fancy crowd for a 7-year-old, and for a handyman for that matter." "The fancy crowd could use more 7-year-olds and handymen," Violet replied firmly. "Besides, there's an incredible chocolate fountain that Emma shouldn't miss." That evening, Emma wore her princess dress, a purple frilly number from a birthday party, while Tyler uncomfortably adjusted his one-good suit jacket. When they arrived at the hotel ballroom, Violet was waiting for them, stunning in a midnight blue gown. "You look beautiful," Tyler said, momentarily speechless. "So do you," Violet replied, straightening his tie with a smile. She knelt down to Emma's level. "And you look absolutely magical, Emma. Would you like to be my special assistant tonight? I need someone to help me make sure the chocolate fountain is working properly." Emma's eyes widened. "Yes, please." Throughout the evening, Violet introduced Tyler and Emma to various business associates and philanthropists. Tyler was surprised to find common ground with several of them, especially a real estate developer interested in sustainable building practices. "Violet tells me you have some innovative ideas about eco-friendly renovations," the developer said, handing Tyler his card. "I'd love to hear more." Later, as Emma dozed in a chair while the adults continued networking, Tyler pulled Violet aside. "What did you tell people about me?" he asked, curious rather than accusatory. "The truth," Violet replied simply. "That you're a skilled contractor with a vision for sustainable building, and that the economy dealt you a tough hand but you're rebuilding." "Why?" "Because Anthony Porter just offered me a consultation contract for his new development project," Tyler said, still stunned. "That's a 7-figure project, Violet. Because you impressed him," she insisted. "I didn't ask anyone to hire you, I just made the introductions, you did the rest." Tyler stared at her for a long moment. "This is your world," he finally said, "and you're sharing it with us." "Just as you've shared yours with me," Violet replied softly. "The worlds aren't as separate as you think." The following Monday, Tyler received a formal offer from Porter Developments. It wasn't charity, the terms were standard, the expectations clear. But it was an opportunity he wouldn't have had without Violet's connection. That night he called her, conflict evident in his voice. "I don't want to succeed because of who you know," he admitted. "It feels like taking advantage." "Tyler," Violet said patiently, "networking is how business works. Do you think I built Harrington Innovations in a vacuum? We all need connections. The question is what we do with them. Anthony Porter wouldn't risk his reputation on someone who couldn't deliver, regardless of who introduced them. Tyler was silent for a moment. I need to know something. Would you still want to be with me if I was just a handyman forever? If I never rebuilt my business or achieved anything more? Yes, Violet answered without hesitation. Because what I love about you has nothing to do with your job title or bank account. The word love hung between them, spoken for the first time. You love me? Tyler asked quietly. I do, Violet confirmed. I love the way you care for Emma, the way you saved me from the river without a second thought, the way you see me as a person first and a CEO second. I love how you've made me part of your life when it would have been easier to keep me separate. I love you too, Tyler replied, his voice thick with emotion. More than I thought possible after everything that happened with Emma's mom. 6 months after their Riverside meeting, Tyler's business was growing steadily, thanks in part to the Porter contract, but mostly due to his reputation for quality work and fair pricing. He'd hired 2 employees and was looking for a small office space. Violet, meanwhile, had implemented changes at Harrington Innovations that shocked her board, but delighted her employees. Reasonable working hours, generous family leave policies, and a focus on work-life balance that she herself now modeled by leaving the office by 6 most evenings. They'd settled into a comfortable routine, with Violet spending most weekends at Tyler's house and occasional weeknights when her schedule allowed. Emma had grown so attached to Violet that she'd started calling her V as a term of endearment. One crisp autumn day, almost exactly a year after their first meeting, Tyler suggested they take Emma back to the Cascade River for a picnic. Are you sure? Violet asked, surprised. That's not exactly a happy memory. I want to replace it with a better one, Tyler explained with a mysterious smile. The spot he chose was upriver from where Violet had fallen, in a sunny clearing with a gentle slope to the water's edge. Emma ran ahead, safely away from the current, while Tyler spread a blanket and unpacked a gourmet lunch that Violet suspected he'd helped preparing. After they ate, Emma convinced them to help her build a fairy house from twigs and leaves. As they worked, Tyler grew increasingly nervous, checking his pocket frequently. What's wrong? Violet finally asked. You seem distracted. Emma, Tyler called, ignoring Violet's question. Remember what we talked about? Emma nodded solemnly and ran to Tyler's backpack, returning with a small paper bag. She handed it to her father with a giggle. What's going on? Violet asked, looking between them. Tyler took a deep breath. A year ago, this river nearly took you away before I even knew you. Instead, it brought you into our lives. He opened the paper bag and removed a small velvet box. I can't imagine our lives without you now. Violet's hand flew to her mouth as Tyler dropped to one knee. Violet Harrington, we love you. Emma and I both do. Will you marry me and make our family complete? Tears sprang to Violet's eyes as she nodded, too overcome to speak at first. Yes, she finally managed. Yes, absolutely yes. Tyler slipped the ring onto her finger, a modest but beautiful sapphire surrounded by smaller diamonds. It's not as grand as what you could afford, he started to apologize. It's perfect, Violet interrupted, pulling him up for a kiss. Absolutely perfect. Emma cheered and threw herself into their embrace, creating a group hug that had all 3 of them laughing and crying at once. As the sun began to set over the Cascade River, casting golden light through the trees, Violet looked at Tyler and Emma, her future husband and stepdaughter, and marveled at how a near tragedy had led to her greatest happiness. You know, she said as they packed up their picnic, I've been thinking about the future of Harrington Innovations. What about it? Tyler asked, helping Emma fold the blanket. I'm considering stepping back from day-to-day operations, Violet explained. Not retiring completely, but taking a chairman role instead of CEO. It would mean more time for us, for Emma, maybe even. She hesitated, then continued, maybe even for expanding our family someday. Tyler's eyes widened. Are you sure? Your company is your life's work. Violet looked at Emma, who was skipping ahead of them on the path, and then back at Tyler. Not anymore, she said softly. My life's work is right here. 6 months later, they married in a ceremony that balanced elegance with warmth, much like their relationship. Emma served as Flower Girl and Best Daughter, a title she had invented herself. Tyler's contracting business had grown to 10 employees, specializing in eco-friendly renovations, while Violet had successfully transitioned to chairman of the board, mentoring her handpicked successor as CEO. They built a new home together, not a mansion, despite Violet's wealth, but a comfortable 4-bedroom house with a large yard and plenty of space for Emma, and the sibling that was now on the way. Tyler had designed it himself, incorporating sustainable features that made it both beautiful and environmentally responsible. On their first anniversary, they returned to the Cascade River once more, this time with 7-month-old Thomas joining 8-year-old Emma for the family tradition. "Do you ever think about how differently things might have turned out?" Tyler asked as they watched Emma carefully showing her baby brother a butterfly that had landed nearby. "If I hadn't slipped," Violet considered this, "I'd probably still be working 80-hour weeks, eating takeout at my desk, and wondering why success felt so empty. And I'd still be struggling to make ends meet, wondering if I'd ever rebuild what I lost," Tyler added. Violet leaned her head against his shoulder. "Instead, we both found something better than what we were looking for." "Much better," Tyler agreed, pressing a kiss to her temple. "It turns out falling was the best thing that ever happened to you," Violet laughed, "only because you were there to catch me." As the sun danced on the water that had once threatened to sweep her away, Violet looked at her family, the struggling dad who had become a successful businessman and devoted husband, the stepdaughter who had claimed her heart as thoroughly as if she were her own, and the baby boy who combined Tyler's warm brown eyes with her own determined expression, and knew that some falls were really just the beginning of a different kind of rise.